Let's see. Why don't you bring it in?
And the reception, they said it's very nice.
Very, very sorry. Very sorry. We're back. We have to come back. Yes, we noticed the technical itch and we were afraid we will lose the recording. So we were able to save the recording and we've already uploaded it on Instagram. If you follow Dele Momodu Appropriation, we didn't want to lose all that record because the essence of this interview is to preserve Baba for life. So we cannot afford to lose anything. If Baba is hearing me, we need the original setting. He's telling me now that you are not able to join. Please let them reset, press the reset button so that we can let you in, sir. I am happy we saved it. We've already uploaded it. I was very, very scared. We can't afford to lose 1 second of this interview. Please, Baba, we want you to rejoin us. He's telling us you are not able to join. We need the original setting as it was. Yes, there was a failure of internet. Suddenly, it was a sudden surge. But I'm happy I noticed immediately, so I had to abort the interview so as to save the recording. And I'm very, very happy that we were able to the recording. So it's fully uploaded already. We will continue this interview for as long as it takes. Next week, week after, every Saturday with Dr. OLUNLOYO. This is something you are not going to get elsewhere. It's impossible. So, Daddy, sorry, we're back. It was a failure of technology, but we were able to save the situation. So we have the recording already. Thank you, sir. Yes, I was asking about why I am not a Christian by Bertrand Russell. Did you ever come across that book? That was a book that nearly turned me into an atheist.
Kibola and we read virtually all the Russells. We read virtually all the, they came at the same time with James Bond, Goldfinger, and all those things. We read them simultaneously, and we enjoyed them. Russell was...
I have the book, Marriage and Morals.
Yes.
An inquiry into meaning and truth. You were just talking about truth.
Yes.
That is the book by Bertrand Russell.
Yes.
On an inquiry into meaning and truth. Yes. Then a free man's worship.
Yes.
Then skeptical essays.
Yes.
Then outline of philosophy. I have much more. These are the ones I have nearby. We have the problems of philosophy. We have in praise of idleness. I love that one. In praise of idleness.
Yes. In praise of idleness. So it's very interesting. I have all the books that you have. I have about twice as many as you have shown.
Wow.
And the greatest in that kind of range is Quine. Quine of what do you call it? Harvard. I have all the Quine. Quiddities. I have all the Quines. They are all here. All those books that you have shown are all here.
Wow.
Yeah. And well, I'm not a Christian and all that. Again, it has to do with proof and so on. You cannot prove the existence of God.
You just have to accept it.
Yes. There are things
and that
you
led
cannot.
us to release.
Yes. There were people like K.M. Flew who did not believe in God and so on, and later on they believe. You see,
like Thomas Paine, there is a debate if Thomas Paine changed his mind at the last minute. There is no proof. The age of reason.
Yes. You see, the question of proof, the question of proof, the nature of proof, is what Godel concentrated upon. The nature of proof is a proof. Proof is a process proceeding from an antecedent to a conclusion. Abi, you start with something, and then you have to start with something, and you end with something. You can't start in vacuum. If two sides of a triangle are equal, the angles at the base of those that triangle must be equal. So there are some interesting theorems before that. The three angles of a triangle sum up to 180 degrees. You produce one side. You produce one side and show that it's equal to the sum of the interior side. So the real thing, the real substance is that proof is a process. Truth is truth is truth is a quality of a statement, whether the statement is true or false. So that leads you to propositional calculus, which is like Ifa. A thing can be either true, that is in two-valued Aristotelian logic. A thing is either true or false. It cannot be both.
It's just a duality.
Yes, it's a duality. And before he died, professor of politics in University of Ibadan, the half-caste man, I've forgotten his name. We used to toy with the idea of a logic in which we contain contradictions. Because politics contains contradictions. So it will not be surprised if there is a logic which contains, there are three valued logics, n valued logics, so that it's not the two-valued logic of Aristotle that is the only logic. There are many valued logics. So what Russell and Whitehead were working about was that there is a two-valued logic in Aristotelian logic, where something is either true or false and nothing else, or the law of excluded middle, as it was called. Then if any proposition, if any system of logic is rich enough to contain elementary arithmetic, then that system of logic must also contain propositions that are true but unprovable. So people see now, there are many books on religion and science. One doesn't contradict the other. One doesn't contradict the other. Because you cannot. What will you use as your example? What will you use as your hypothesis that, you know, God exists or God does not exist? If you prove that God exists, what is his nature? What is his nature? How will you prove? What they taught us in primary school. Ẹ̀mí ni Ọlọ́run, ìwọ kò lè rí ni, ó lè ṣe ohun gbogbo. Ó sì mọ ohun gbogbo. Omniscient, omnipotent.
Ó sì lè rí ohun gbogbo.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Is omnipresent.
Omniscient. And is the Alpha and the Omega. It has no start. It has no end. It's the Alpha and the Omega. Because in geometry, when you draw a straight line, you can produce it as long as you like to the right. And you can produce it as long as you like to the left. If you take a point and you name that point 0, and you put 1, 2, 3, 4 on the right, you can put -1, -2, -3, -4 on the left, and there is no end on the left, and there is no end on the right. So it's endless. A straight line has no end. So that's Russell and Whitehead.
Yes, I wanted us to go between those two because there are other great names I would want you to talk about within
Yes.
our space of time. Albert Einstein, Isaac Newton, Archimedes, Pythagoras, their contributions
Yes.
to the world of science.
Yes. Newton.
Is it possible to rate them? Are you able to rate who is the greatest scientist of all time?
That is very difficult.
I know.
That is very difficult. Newton had some ideas. He saw an apple fall from a tree. And if he didn't, the apple, when detached from the apple tree, didn't fly sideways. It didn't fly up. It didn't fly to the left. It didn't fly to the right. It came right down. All the laws of physics have shown that all the forces that are in physics are more or less electromagnetic. And about 2 weeks before Awe died, Awe believed that gravity too will fall under the, and gravity fell under the. So if you put something up and it comes down, it's electromagnetic.
that is bringing it.
Yes, that is bringing it. But the wavelength is so small that you think it's dropping in a straight line. I was very sad that Awe died at the time he died.
Professor Muyiwa,
Yes.
great man. Great man.
He got a double first before we went to Cavendish College, Cambridge. Cavendish Laboratory. The impression is given in science in secondary school that science is essentially a theoretical thing. They teach it and then you perform experiments to verify the. But science is essentially experimental. When you put a rod into a beaker of water, you see that the rod bends. Whereas the rod actually does not bend.
It's straight.
It's straight. The speed of light in air and the speed of light in water are different. Then you come to a place in a desert, in a hot day in a desert, and you see a mirage, and you think you have come to a pool of water. The same thing. If you draw a straight line that is horizontal, and you draw one that is vertical, you find that I can. Please give me a sheet of paper and a pen. Junior, give me a sheet of paper and a pen. And I will draw two lines now to show that the eye is not isotropic. Bring it, yes. Yes. And bring any writing material. There are thousands there. Bring one. No, that's not. Yes, open it. From 0. Yes, my experiment is finished. If I've drawn two lines, A, B, and C, D. Look at these two lines I've drawn. Can you see them?
I'm seeing one now. Okay, I've seen the two. Yes, sir. One in the middle.
This one is what have I? A, B, C, D. This A, B, where is A, B? A, B. You can see A, B is horizontal.
Okay.
In the middle of B, A, B, hold it. You can see C, D.
Yes, sir.
Which do you think is longer?
I think the one in the middle, like the T.
No, no. AG is one line. And
AG
I
is
draw
one line, yes.
to it like this.
Yes, I think that looks longer, maybe because the others have a break.
No, not a break. How much longer? Which one do you think is longer?
The one at the center.
That is this one.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's measure them.
Baba has a ruler.
Yeah, let's measure them. I'm afraid
Which is longer, sir?
the one you say is shorter. Please look at it well again. This one, the
Yes,
horizontal
sir.
one, is 14.
14.
No, it's 15 centimeters.
Yes, sir.
The long one that you think is long,
The long one.
illusion. Are you still?
How many?
The vertical one,
Wow.
the vertical one. Hold it.
Yes, sir.
This going up is 14 centimeters. The horizontal one is 15.
Wow.
You can see it yourself. That is an optical illusion. The simplest of the optical illusion. It's so
Aha.
because
Baba, you won't believe it. I just wrote it down here that I was going to ask about optical illusion. And you mentioned it.
yes,
Wow.
the simplest optical
This
illusion
is great.
is because the eye is not isotropic. It's not a spherical
Wow.
thing. If it had been spherical, measuring like that and measuring like this. You notice that when they take photographs of skyscrapers in America or so, when they go tall, they seem to want to touch.
Wow.
They seem to want to touch.
I see. Wow.
So, you know, this is an illusion.
Okay, so we were talking about Einstein, Newton, Archimedes, Pythagoras.
Let me write down their names again and look at them.
Albert Einstein.
Einstein,
Newton, Isaac Newton.
Newton, Pythagoras, and who?
Archimedes.
Archimedes of Syracuse.
Yes, sir.
Archimedes. That was my own.
Pythagoras.
Yes, Archimedes was my nickname in government college. There's one man more. The latest man, Stephen Hawking.
Okay, Hawkins, yes.
Yes, Hawkins. Because Hawkins has so much physical disability, and yet he sat on Newton's chair for about 20 years. They made a special
From his
computer.
wheelchair.
Eh?
I said from
They
his
went,
wheelchair.
yes, he couldn't see. He was suffering from ALS disease.
Baba is 85 for the man asking. Okay, Abiola. Baba is 85.
Now, the most astonishing thing. The most moving thing is Einstein. Einstein is the one who had made it's easy to there are some errors that Einstein made which Hawkins found.
Wow.
Pythagoras, oh my goodness. I will show you how Pythagoras was proved. The theorem is unbelievable.
Wow.
On the sand. So we go for Einstein. Everybody knows that when he's going on a road, the trees seem to move. Whereas when they stop, the trees stop. The trees actually don't move. This kind of relative motion. And if you are in a railway station, in London anywhere, when your train starts slowly to get out of the station, sometimes you don't know whether it is your train that is moving or is the other train. Have you not experienced that?
Yes, I know. I see that on Gatwick Express to Victoria.
Yes. You won't know which one is moving. And so the problem of light, Morley experiment, whether light is affected by the direction is a fundamental experiment. But Einstein says all motion is relative. And people did not take it seriously. So he has two theories, the general theory of relativity and special theory of relativity. Archimedes did geometry. Archimedes did geometry before he did algebra. Archimedes found that if it's fair in a cylinder, the volume of the sphere will just be 2/3. So he started integral calculus, but Newton started integral calculus by a method which nobody understood for 2,000 years.
2,000 years.
Yes. Dy dx. And and then he uses something like Y dash. Nobody knew what the method meant until a man, Abraham Robinson, a Jew also, a Jew, Abraham Robinson, then discovered that the method he was using was correct. People never understood it, but when they use it, they get the correct answer. You get the correct answer. So that's what Newton and Leibniz. They discovered calculus at the same time.
I enjoyed Newton as a young boy because his theory was easier for me to follow for a novice in science.
Yes.
Everybody continues in its states of uniform motion, except an external force acts on it.
Yes,
When the
Newton's
force acts on momentum.
every Newton's first law says, it says a body remains in a state of rest.
Except an external
Or
force.
first in a state of rest, unless an external force is impressed on it, which is good enough. And he also said that there have been uniform motion
Uniform motion.
if no force is impressed on it. Abi? But then
Yes.
what happens when a force is impressed on it?
Acts on the body. There's a change of momentum.
Change of momentum. Momentum was an idea.
And it is inversely proportional to its line of force.
Yes.
Me too, I know that one, sir.
Yes. That momentum puzzled many people, including me. Momentum is mass times velocity. Is mass times velocity. Kinetic energy is 1/2 mv squared. Now, as for the first law is very interesting. The second law is also interesting. But the most interesting law is the third law.
Actions and reactions are always equal and opposite.
Yes. That was the one that was used for the jet. The jet is like that. The jet was a long time coming. The jet was like that. It draws in air. It draws in air. The air is compressor. Then the air is heated in the combustion chamber. Then the air is just allowed to escape. Because it's going to escape through a narrow hole, the air escapes like that. Because it's with a force. Once it's heated, a force will move it out. When it moves like that, there must be a reaction. So that was how the jet was discovered. Very, very easily.
And did they need the other law, the principle of inertia?
And the principle of inertia. What do you call the principle of inertia?
Inertia can be defined as a reluctance or resistance of an object to acceleration or deceleration.
Yes. That's the one that brings in friction. And in fluids, viscosity. And you go into BLT, boundary layer theory. The is taken by some people as the same as the first law of motion. As the first law of motion. If there's nothing pushing it, it will where it is. If there is something pushing it, then it will move. If the thing pushing it is constant, what do you call it? A man in the University of Lagos, Awojobi, found that
Dele,
yes, found that there is an error in Newton. There's an error in Newton. There's an error in Newton, but there's an error in Newton about inertia. And that is what he's got his DSC for.
I don't many people got DSC.
I know DSC by exam. He got it by examination.
By examination. It must be a brain box. Yeah. I think that's what knocked his brain.
Well,
too much book.
No, he was all right, but he wasn't versed in mathematics.
I see.
That's why we all lost that case.
The 12 to third.
More or less, 12 to 30. Several people called us. They reduced it to the two of us. Chief Showale, Chief Adebo, General Adebayo. They arranged a meeting for us. The rapporteur was this man, this light complexion man, Adefuye. Adefuye, you know him?
The Anthony?
Yes. He himself didn't understand what we were talking. So they chose wrongly, they chose Awujobi. What I asked them to do was different from what Awolowo did. Awolowo said the thing must be 13. I asked them to do a dichotomy. that is either 12 2/3, as they said, or 13. If there is 13, there's nothing to prove. They have themselves admitted they didn't get 13. On the 12 2/3, Awujobi didn't do a stroke of work, which was a tragedy. I worked the 2/3. You see, 2/3, Kano had 20 states. 2/3 of Kano State is 2/3 of 20, which is 40/3. 40/3 is 13, 1/3 or so. Now, 1/3 of a state or 2/3 of a state has a natural connotation, I insist, till today. It has a natural connotation because 1/3 of a state, 2/3 of a state, the whole state has natural connotation in that in the gubernatorial elections, such fractions occur. Such fractions occur. You have to get a quarter of the votes in at least 2/3 of the states, Abi.
Dele, sir.
A quarter of the votes in 2/3 of the states. So what 1/4 V times 2/3 of S? All that Akinde did, and we were told that this was the work of an CI woman who suggested it to them, was, you see, 1/4 of V in 2/3 of S is what? Let me enlarge it. 1/4 V in 2/3 of Kano State. Can you see it?
It's not showing well, sir. I think it's too close to the screen.
But you can write it down yourself.
Yes, sir.
1/4 V
1/4 V
times 2/3 K.
2/3 K.
That's Kano State. 1/4 V. Now, if you change V and 2/3, you will get 1/4 times 2/3 VK. If you can interchange V and 2/3.
Yes, sir.
What you started with is 1/4 V times
Times
2/3 K.
2/3 K.
When you do that, you will get 1/4 V. 1/4 will be where it is, K will be where it is, but you will get 2/3 V.
Yes, sir. So the man who say I'm right it's on the screen. This is my right.
Yes. So I use saying what it becomes. it becomes 2 over 12. 2 over 12.
Yes, sir.
It becomes 1/6 of
Yes, sir.
VK. 1/6
Of VK.
of VK.
Yes, sir.
But you see that interchanging of V and 2/3, the question arises whether one is allowed to interchange like that. And I proved that one is not allowed. There are 4 arithmetical operations: plus times, minus, divide. You get my point?
Yes, sir.
You can interchange with plus at any time. Do you agree? You can always interchange with plus.
With plus.
Yes, you can always interchange any two numbers. You can always interchange with times. 2 times 3 is 7 plus 4. You can interchange with those two, but you can't interchange with minus. 2 minus 4 is not the same thing as 4 minus 2. Do you agree with me?
Yes,
2
sir.
minus 4 is not the same as 4 minus 2. And 3 over
2
6.
4 is the opposite. Yes.
Then 2 minus 4 and 4 minus 2. One is minus 2, one is 2. You can also not divide commutatively. 3 over 6 is not the same thing as 6 over 3. 3 over 6 is 1. 3 over 6 is 1/2. 6 over 3 is 2. Do you get my point?
Yes, sir.
From elementary arithmetic, from primary school, you are allowed to multiply and add two numbers together in any order you wish. But you are not allowed to subtract and divide in any order you wish. So so what they did was to interchange two things. So they then checked whether Shagari got 1/6 of the votes in Kano State. So I then put the thing on the computer and found that he did not get once. He did not even get 1/6 of the votes in Kano State. At this point, they didn't pursue the question of all the judgments were wrong. The 3 judgments. There was one judgment, majority judgment, which held that it was 13. There was a majority dissenting judgment about Obaseki, who agreed with the majority for other reasons.
Extraneous forces. I said extraneous forces.
Yes, and there was another force. There was another judgment by Esho.
Justice Kayode Esho.
Yes, which quoted Nicomachean ethics instead of quoting the organon, Aristotle's organon. I lectured him in the stream between our two houses that he was wrong. He was quoting Nicomachean Ethics. That's not where Aristotle wrote his major work on logic. So they then chose 1/6 of the vote in Kano State. The way to prove that they were wrong is by creating models that you can't interchange votes and military. And the original papers which I wrote are in Ikene, in Shukolu Library.
Mm.
In Shukolu Library.
That's a very, very good library.
Yes. It's in glass. One can read it from outside.
Steve Ayoride, thanks for joining us. Wow, wow. Now, I want us to go back again in history. You and I discussed during the week, and I had always been fascinated about the Gawonian era. I wanted you to talk about General Yakubu Gowon. He's still alive. I'm trying to get him, and I'm hoping I can get him to join us on this platform, because I think he laid the foundation post-independence of whatever infrastructure we have today. He laid that foundation. Was it because he had so much money at his disposal at the time Nigeria was buoyant, or because he was just intelligent enough to have assembled a good team?
Well, I think it's both. I think it was both. He tried to make a third development plan, and I think he was lucky that we had more money. You remember the saying, money is not a problem, it is how to spend it. But it turned into another thing. The money, our own money, was mistakenly saved was mistakenly stored in England and America in dollars and sterling. So what happened was they succeeded in lending us our money. They lent us our own money and wrote down interest, yes, and wrote down interest against us. That's the Paris Club and the other club. It was that's how why they had to cancel those debts. It's not their own money they were lending out. It's our own money which we had foolishly stored there. And the General Gowon was a very decent man, and I think he was honest. I prefer him to any other heads of state. They carried several rumors about only what do you call it, in Togo, a hotel, this and that, which turned out to be false. They also desecrated his father's grave. You remember? They dug out his father's corpse and set it on fire.
This country.
Yes. And in the 9 years to the date, eventually they accused him of taking part in Muritala's assassination. I think the thing was surrounded Sule Kolo, who was coming from tennis and calling at his house. And they found eventually that he didn't take any part. There was a time the Queen had to keep him, take care of his safety, because he had in every way been decent. And I encountered him in London.
After he was toppled.
After he was toppled. And Adamu Auge, Alaafin of Oyo, this the chairman of the Nigeria Airways, who was an Air Force man before. We were trapped in Heathrow for 3 days. We had passed all the
Immigration.
immigration,
Security screen.
all the security, and also
Heading to the body.
just next to the boarding. And we couldn't board for 3 days.
Wow.
I think we had all spent all our money, hoping that money we brought to meet us. I remember I had only £3. Alaafin did not have much more. He had bought everything for everybody, including his servants. So, and we got some very interesting books to buy when we went to the books. Math. So I phoned General Gawan. Like the decent man he was. He said, how much did I have left? I said, £3. He said, all right, £3 cannot take me to where he is. I should call such a station. Then he will take a platform ticket. So I took the train and I dropped where he said I should drop. He came and took me from the station platform, and he connected with me to his house. I had a hot meal, and he gave me £500, which was a huge sum of money.
Wow.
I said, but he said he had no money, he was giving me more. I said, but this is a lot of money. I'm not going to spend this money until I get to Nigeria. So, you know, he took me to his house. His wife was there. His allowances had not been paid. His salaries had not been paid. And after some 2 hours, he took me back. He took me back to the railway station nearest him. I haven't bought me the tickets to return to Heathrow. Apart from the study. And I faced where I was coming from to see him. And he stood there watching me. And I will continue to watch him until he became a tiny speck. in the horizon. And I burst into tears. That this is a man who served Nigeria for 9 years. They could have slaughtered him like homework or somebody. So I wiped back my tears and returned to the plane so that I saw him as well. And
The internet.
he came to Nigeria. I had become a governor, and it was a very good reunion. They prevented him from going to certain places, like Ogun State, because you made Awolowo his second in command. And so that was childish. For my sake, in my own case, they said I should not give him full protocol. People to go and meet him. I said I had. But how I will get in touch with him on telephone. When it came to the time he will come, I told all the commissioners to go to the toll gate. And we met him and we took him to Ojaba, Mako, all this, to the market. His wife was astounded that he was received spontaneously. And they gave him presents. We took him to Balagi market too. They gave him presents. And like the whole Western region and its efficiency, we had arranged photographers, about 12, to cover the 12 would come from one time to another time, from one time to another time. So they all did their job. Whether they had used 3 exposures or 10 exposures, they will go back to the telephone, to the photographic room, and they will develop the thing and put it in an album. So it came to the luncheon. Before the luncheon, we had asked them to get 9 years, 15 minutes each of his tenure, which his wife said she was told had all been obliterated. We gave them 15 minutes in the dark room, and he saw excerpts involving them. They were very, very excited. So we went to the dining room. We cracked some jokes and so on about Rotimi, who had divested me of the polytechnic job. And somebody kept Rotimi for 4 hours, waiting to see me the day he came to book the appointment. We fired the man because we didn't send him on a retaliatory job. We fired the man. So we had a lot of jokes. We had a good meal. The meal was covered by Polaroid. And then we put the Polaroid in we got the films spliced year by year, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 9. And then also the album, he got everything, and he was so delighted. We were also so delighted. So we have been friends.
Wow. Now, this session we want to end this session in another 30 minutes because I'm going on a webinar at 4 o'clock today. It's fully packed. Then after that, we are starting the 40th posthumous birthday for our late friend, the wife of Pastor Itua Igodalo Ibiduni tonight. Tomorrow she would have been 40, but she died last month. So we are also working on that. We are keeping a vigil tonight. But there is a question, sir, that someone close to me has asked. He said, how does IFA use or relate to differential calculus? You mentioned IFA briefly, but you didn't develop it.
No, IFA does not relate to differential calculus. IFA relates to propositional logic.
Propositional logic.
Yes, that work that you said Russell and Whitehead were doing. IFA relates to it, and it relates to electrical engineering, it relates to communications, as your uncle could tell you, because something is either true or false. Then, after that, if there are two propositions, then you have four possibilities. You have four possibilities. True, 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 false. False, true, false, false. Those are the possibilities you have with 4. If you go to 8, you have 2Q. So what happens is that when you are analyzing sentences, if you have the dog was rabbit, the man was old, the day was a Sunday when the man was beaten, when beaten. There are 3 sentences there. You have 3 sentences there. P, Q, R. So to analyze these sentences, P could be true, Q could be true, and P could be false. Q could be true, and Q could be false. V could be true, and V could be false. That's one set. Then T could be true, Q could be true, and V could be false. Remember the first array was TTT. We now have TTF. We then have TTF. We now have TFF. Those are 4. Then we start the one with F. FTT. FFT. So like that, you have only 8 combinations. But it's easy to explain to you with two P and Q. True, 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 false, false, true, false, false. You can combine sentences like this. The same thing with switching on electric lights. You can combine propositions like this. You can also switch on or switch off. If you have 2 switches, you who control the same lamp. You can have on, on, off, on, off. So it applies to propositions, it applies to electrical engineering, it applies to IFA, and the IFA table is the same. And you know, if you read Banji Abimbala's books, you know, you have 256 eventually. 2 by 2, 2 by 2, 4 by 2, 8 by 2, 16 by 2, 32 by 2, 64 by 2, 128 by 2, 256. Diodufa believes that you can, any sentence that is not too long can be put into this format of propositional calculus. So that propositional the chances of being true or false can be evaluated. The chances of true or false can be evaluated. Which one is that? Which one is that for?
The Yoruba oral tradition by Wade Abibola. It's one of the biggest books ever written on the. Yeah, when you mentioned Professor one day, I remembered I had that in my library. I have Amodu Odumere, the 16 great poems of Ifa. Then
Yes.
I have the Ifa generation poetry.
Yes. And from that, you can evaluate the probability of something being true or something being false. It's the same system.
So Ifa is more scientific than religious. Is that what we're saying, sir?
Ifa is more
scientific than being religious. People see Ifa as a religion, the oracle. So is it more scientific or is it more religious?
No, religion, like we are talking of religion. Are we not talking of things like Hinduism?
Spirituality.
No, Hinduism, Shintoism, what are the other ones? Christianity, Islam, and so on. No one is superior to the other. No one is superior to the other.
Every region of the world has a form of religion that talks about the same God, but through different prophets, disciples, apostles.
But some don't have the idea of God in them.
They have the idea of the prophet or what?
No, they have the idea of Buddhism, for example.
Yeah, someone just wrote it there. I read a lot about Buddhism from Love Grandpa.
Yes. All those books of Love Grandpa.
Yes. The Tibetan monks.
Dalai Lama.
The Dalai Lama.
They have a lot of books. What is the name of that lady in Malaya who went to Oxford? I've forgotten her name now. You know, the woman they locked up for many years.
Oh, the Burmese woman from Burma.
Yeah, from Burma.
From Burma. Okay. What's her name now?
The,
I think she even won a Nobel Peace Prize.
yes, is
If
it the Muslim?
if I go quickly here, I will get it in 1 second. Burma. Once we put Burma, her name must come up. Yes. Aung San Suu Kyi.
Yes, that's okay.
Yes. Aung San Suu Kyi. Yes.
Not in many people's good books now.
Sir?
I say she's not in very many people's good books.
Mm.
She's doing what she was complaining of, what many people were complaining of, victimization by the military.
Yes. High-handedness, dictatorship, tyranny. I think there is a wide difference between idealism and realism in politics.
Yes.
Until you get power, you never know what you will do with it. The same thing with poverty and wealth. Until you make money. When you are poor, you see every rich man as a rogue. When you are rich, you see every poor man as stupid.
To talk about contemporary Nigeria or contemporary Oyo State. I will leave that. I will deliberately omit that. But there has been so much kleptomania in Nigeria that they are running Nigeria bankrupt, shamelessly bankrupt, and they are doing all sorts of things. Except that Kande, whom I have a lot of respect for.
Baba
All of them.
Kode, this guy, yeah, Baba is incredible, incredible.
He's never exposed his wife to theft and what do you call this?
Corruption and
Yeah, not corruption, just first lady business.
okay,
Being and
grandstanding.
mommy is interested in this, mommy is interested in that. And
Hmm.
that's what leads some people to where they are.
Yeah.
You know?
The London Metropolitan Police had an advert that day that says never tempt a thief. Never
Yeah,
tempt a thief. That's the London Metropolitan Police. They had an advert that says never tempt a thief. If you tempt a thief, they will steal. If there are no temptations, then you can reduce stealing.
Metropolitan Police.
Yes, sir.
The nearest I got to that was Benga working for them. Working for all sorts of London transport, metropolitan, banks of various kinds, and the port was.
People are still asking about the FASA. We have about 14 minutes to go. The fire logic. You know, we were saying
Yeah,
whether it was more of religion or more of science or more of mathematics.
see,
Yes, sir.
Ifa is there. Ifa is there purely mathematical. Lunge wrote a good book. Lunge
Sir,
of computer science.
which
But
book, sir? You said a book.
Lunge
What?
of UI.
Lunge. Okay.
Yes. He wrote a very good book on that. And you wrote the book on arithmetic in Yoruba.
Arithmetic. Oh, wow.
In Yoruba, we have. You see, when the Jews came, you know they came from all over the world. French Jews, German Jews, and when they settled in Israel, there was the question of education. They came from Czechoslovakia, they came from Russia, they came from everywhere. And it was difficult. They didn't, none of them understood Hebrew. So they forced all of them to learn Hebrew. They forced them to learn Hebrew. And they have a lot of luck. Maybe they've won 100 Nobel Prizes. I was just joking with Akin Kugwe. I said, I didn't want to come to Nigeria. Why didn't you come? Look at the people who succeeded you at joining JAMB and this. He opened his mouth like this when the man, one of the people who replaced him was talking. The standard was about 5 levels down.
Wow.
I said, you who have been a member of the Royal Society. He said, what about you? Went to the person. You have been a Nobel Prize man. I said, look, I want power. I don't want. Churchill says scientists should be put on top, not on top. When you need them, IFA is a system of knowledge and is based on pure mathematics.
Is it possible that the white man used religion to take Ifa away?
No, they condemn all our religions. You know, they condemn all our religions and call them, I don't know what they call them. It's very,
Satanic.
very satanic, primitive religion and so on.
Crude.
What is Christianity to the English? What they has it to do? Christianity was a Jewish thing to start with, and or what do you think? Look
Yeah,
at the
which
first
even
Bible.
the Jews hardly practice it because there is the politics of the Palestinians and the Jews.
Yeah.
I was in Nazareth last year. I was invited by Pastor T.B. Joshua last year to Nazareth, and he wanted to do a Christian crusade. He had renovated the mountain. I can't remember, I think Mountain of Providence or something, where Jesus Christ was supposed to have been praying in those days, and the Arabs refused. We had so much security for us to get to that mountain because the Arabs would not allow people to talk about Jesus Christ. In Nazareth, if you go to Bethlehem and if you go to his birthplace, it's the same problem. In fact,
A
the
prophet.
Muslims have their loudspeakers all around to disturb the tourists
And
who come
what
there.
and what did Jesus say? A prophet is not without honor
In his own, it's true.
in his own country.
It's unbelievable. The way they detest him is unbelievable. They will
They,
laugh at you. Till now, they practice their Sabbath. The
yes,
the the,
you
the
arrive on
Israelis,
Friday and you have nothing to eat.
nothing. Yes, I think I arrived Friday night going to Saturday morning. So I
Ah,
was able to get a taxi from the airport to Nazareth.
yes, but then you will not get anything unless you go to Jerusalem to rent a
Well,
car and go.
Tel Aviv is more cosmopolitan. The hotels are okay in Tel Aviv, but in most parts on Saturday, on Friday, nothing is happening.
But all the same, you have to eat kosher meat too.
And then
Kosher.
yes, the food everywhere you go, it's difficult to find anything else unless you go to some specific foreign. Even in the foreign shops, you still have to obey the Jewish laws.
Yes. And the Pentateuch is very important to them. The 5 books of
Yeah, so
Moses.
I worship in the synagogue. No, I went to a church on New Year's Day. That was 2 years ago. I've been there 2 years ago last year, but this year, because of COVID, I haven't been there. 2 years ago, on New Year's Day, there was nobody in church. It was only those of us from Nigeria. I went with Yadura, and we were virtually the only people in the church. New Year's Day in Nigeria, everybody will want to go to church.
Yes.
It's incredible.
As Wale Soyinka said, but this is a hopeless country because, as Soyinka said, there is more religiosity than godliness
Hmm.
in Nigeria. More religiosity than godliness.
Hmm.
People have no conscience here.
People steal the money so that they can go and attempt to bribe God inside the churches.
And they bribe God inside the churches. Even people in high places. There's nothing I hate more than when I attend the church. In our midst today, we have some very important people. Nobody
No,
is like that
no,
in the of God.
OLUNLOYO. I think that one is cultural. It's a culture of respect. We give respect to important personalities.
No, I don't think so. We are
I
all
will feel
equal.
bad to come into a place and you are not recognized that day. You
No,
earned it. There are people who have not earned it, but in your case, you earned it.
one ends nothing. Look at Simeon Adebo. He came to me in the housing corporation. After Ogun State had been created, he said he wanted a piece of land. I said, for whom? He said, for his son, but his son is a surgeon now. I think he died last year, the son. Money I will not give you, sir. How do you decide like that quickly like that? Money, you all the time you served the Western region, you rode a Morris Minor,
Hmm.
BA 1939.
Wow.
You rode the Morris Minor, and you forgot yourself, and you served the state, and you forgot yourself throughout. Therefore, I'm not going to give you it. Only Victor, you are still the same. You have not changed. You are like your father. Yes, we work together in Secretariat in Lagos. Mo ní kíní Awólọ́wọ̀ tẹ wá fún yín. Ẹ jẹ́ ó dùn mí pé ẹ wá sí quarters mi 2 bedroom. Ẹ bá pè mí sí Bodilon. President Bodilon tẹ wá. Ó ní well, I'm on the way to the airport. Mo ní ọkọ̀ wo lẹ̀ ń gbé lọ? Ṣé ọkọ̀ yìí ni? He said, is this car? I said, this car won't reach you. It has been kicked twice. So it didn't answer. This car will not reach at the airport. Take one of my official cars to follow you. Okoyenda book one to the airport.
We don't have people like that any longer.
Yeah.
Daddy, definitely by the grace of God, God keep us alive. We would like to continue this conversation next Saturday because I want you to speak about the super permanent secretaries. People have said the biggest problem afflicting Nigeria today is the issue of the civil service. That the civil servants are worse than politicians. So I want you to think ahead about that. There are so many other things.
I don't think we believe in that. People like Siodu and
Philip Asiodu, yes.
Philip Asiodu and
Asabia.
Asabia, the federal again. What's the name of the Shekri man? What the man there? They were good. Those King's College boys. They were good. They were trained to be real civil servants.
Wow.
They were, the King's College boys were good.
Yes, I still have so much. We haven't spoken yet about Alaafin the Third. We have Adeyemi the Third. We haven't spoken yet about Nishijo Ade very well. We haven't spoken about Babangida's era. We haven't spoken much about the late Aderemi and about Oba Nishijo Ade. So we have a whole load of. We'll still talk some science by the grace of God, because I realize that. Yes, you've rekindled. Oh, I can see the books on the. Was that the Alaafin? Is that a book or a pamphlet or what?
A book.
It's a book. Ikú bàbá yèyé aláṣẹ ìkejì òrìṣà ṣàgìrì làgìrì òlàgìrì kàkà fígbẹ́dùn bọ̀. We thank God. We thank God for his life. We thank God for his life. Yes.
Yes, and the station master. I said the station master.
Station master.
Adekunbi to
Adekunbi to Benny. And then Nishijo Ade.
Baba Glass House.
Baba Glass House. Niremo.
Atobatele.
Then Nishijo Ade. Olubuse, Eriogun, Ebiti Kimokiti.
Ogboru.
Royal Family. Wow. No. Àgbà òní tán lùsà. Mo dúpẹ́ ìdọ̀bálẹ̀ ni mo wà. Ẹ ṣé gan ni o. Mo yíká ọ̀tún, mo yíká òsì. Ẹ ṣé gan daddy, ẹ ṣé gan. So by the grace of God, we'll get ready. I want to thank everybody who made this happen. Junior, thank you so much. Wura, thank you. Benga, thank you. Ayobami, thank you. Everybody, the entire OLUNLOYO family, I thank you for your support for Baba and for this program. I think this is the best thing that happened this COVID season, and I look forward to you joining us again next week by the grace of God. Yes, this is our commitment. Thank you, Daddy. Eshegoni, sir.
God bless you.
God bless you, sir. Thank you, sir. Eshe, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.